symmetry. To understand what symmetry is, so let's take an example of this figure. As you all know, this is isosceles triangle which will be having two sides equal, right? And let's see, when we divide this figure into exactly two parts, whether the figure is overlapping on each other. So let's give the point as ABC. And when we are dividing this into half with vertical line, then this BC can overlap on CE. So this shows that whenever two parts are matching exactly or overlapping exactly on each other, this shows that they have vertical line symmetry or any kind of line symmetry when we can divide that particular figure into two parts. So here we have vertical line symmetry. This is vertical line. Vertical line symmetry. Now let's take another example. The same isosceles triangle I have written in other direction. Let's take this also points as ABC, and here in isosceles we have two sides equal. So these two sides are equal. So how can we divide this figure into exactly two parts? We have to draw horizontal line. So this is horizontal line. Horizontal line, which is called horizontal line symmetry, because we are drawing horizontal line to make it as into two parts. So now these are called line or axis of symmetry. It can be horizontal or vertical axis of symmetry. Now, can we have any figure which has more than one axis of symmetry? In these two figures, we can make only one line of symmetry or axis of symmetry. Let's try with other also. Can we do? We can't do when we use horizontal or vertical, because whenever we are dividing any part into half, it should be exactly overlapping on each other. So it will not happen here. So it is not, it is having only one line of symmetry. So can a figure have more than one line of symmetry? Let's see with an example. We'll take an example of a rectangle where you can see opposite sides are equal and each angle will be measuring right angle, 90 degree. So when we, just a minute, I'll erase this. Yes, when we are dividing this figure exactly into two parts, it should overlap on each other. Let's see whether it is happening for this figure or no. Give these points as A, B, C, D and then try with first vertical line. Yes, because vertical line, after drawing vertical line, then we can see that BC can overlap exactly on AD. Now let's try with horizontal line. So when we draw horizontal line also, we can see that AB will be exactly overlapping on DC. So we can say here in rectangle, we can form two lines of symmetry. One is vertical and one is horizontal. Right. Then in that case, can diagonals also have line of symmetry? Can we join diagonals in this rectangle to make it as a line of symmetry? When we join B and D, can this BCD overlap on DAB? When you overlap this on this figure, it will not exactly overlap, right? It will not exactly match. It will be something like this. When you fold it, it will be something like this. It will not overlap exactly on this. So we can say this rectangle will be having only two lines of symmetry. Two lines of symmetry, which is vertical line of symmetry and horizontal line of symmetry. So let's see, can we have any other figure which has more than lines of symmetry or axis of symmetry? Let's take a square. So as we all know, in square all the sides are equal and all sides are measuring right angle. All angles are measuring right angle, which is 90 degree. Now, as we have seen in the rectangle, we can form horizontal line of symmetry and also horizontal and also vertical. So this is horizontal, this is vertical line of symmetry, and this is horizontal line of symmetry. Now can we make diagonals also? When we join diagonals, can we form a symmetry? Let's see. This is vertical, this is horizontal. So let's draw a line. Let's give this point as A, B, C, D again. It will be easy for us to recognize. Now I have joined B and D diagonal. Just a minute. So after joining B and D, when you imagine that this BCD overlapping on ABD, can it happen? Yes, it can overlap exactly. Right? So we can say it has diagonals. Diagonals will be forming line of symmetry. Let's see another diagonal which is A and C. This also can overlap exactly on each other. So here we can see that two diagonals also symmetrical. So a square has horizontal, vertical and two diagonal symmetries. Okay. So here it should be in the center point. So I'm using the mouse, so it's going here and there. When you use ruler, exactly there will be overlapping. Then, now can we have any other figure which has more than two line symmetry? Because in isosceles figure first one, we got only one line of symmetry. In figure 2, we had one line of symmetry. In figure B, then in figure C, how many line of symmetry we got? 2. And figure D, how many we got? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 lines of symmetry. What about more than 4? Do we have any more than 4 figure which have more than 4 line symmetry for particular figure? Let's see. This is hexagon, where we can try making symmetries using different ways. Like first, when we take vertical line of symmetry, here we can form exactly two parts. Now let's try with horizontal one. This also forms symmetry. Then let's see with the diagonal one. This also forms symmetry. Here also forms symmetry. Now after that, again, can you see any other side which forms symmetrical figure? When we make here, we can see that it will exactly overlap. The other part will be exactly overlapping on given this part. So again, one more line when we form here, this also exactly overlapping on the other part. So here in hexagon, we can see that there are 6 equal sides and also 6 angles are equal. Right? All angles are equal. 6 angles are equal. So it forms horizontal, vertical, diagonal and also line joining midpoint of them. Midpoint of these two sides also forms symmetry. So we have 6 axes of symmetry here in hexagon. In figure E, we have 6 axes of symmetry. Now there is one more figure we can find where we can find that infinite axis of symmetry. Let's take a circle. So as we know, there is a center point in the circle, and when we divide this circle in using vertical line, it exactly overlaps. When we fold it, it exactly overlaps, and again when we take horizontal line, this also overlaps. Like this in circle, we can form infinite axis of symmetry by drawing lines like this. So we can say circle has infinite axis of symmetry. Understood? Even like this, in nature also we can find symmetry. Example, human. When you see human face, when you divide this face into exactly half, then you can see vertical line of symmetry. So can you make any other symmetrical line of symmetry in human face? No, only vertical line of symmetry we can find in the nature. So example you can take as leaves or butterfly. All these are example for some other shapes in find in nature. So what is symmetry? What you understood? Symmetry is when an object has two or more equal sides when split in half or in smaller pieces. Like example, as I said, in the nature also we can find symmetry. This is the figure of a tiger. You can see one line of symmetry, which is vertical line of symmetry in this face. And even this is an example where you can see house figure when one half of it is in the mirror image of the other half. So when you closely take the object near the mirror, then you can observe that that will be reflected. Other half part of that object or whatever will be reflected in the mirror. That shows again is line symmetry. This is also an example where you can see in this first figure, butterfly has one line of symmetry. When you make a vertical line, you can find one line of symmetry. And in this example, Taj Mahal, you can find two lines of symmetry here. One is vertical and exactly it is mirror image you can see here. Here you can find two lines of symmetry. Like this, there are many more examples in nature also. Even in alphabets we can see symmetry. Here symmetry with alphabet, when you look at A alphabet, when you exactly divide into half, it will overlap. This is vertical line symmetry where it is overlapping. Two parts are overlapping on each other. Same way for M, U, W. If you try, you can make out the difference. Here we have horizontal line of symmetry where we need to draw a line horizontally to make it into two parts exactly, which will match exactly into two parts. And D and B, they are mirror image where we can see in the mirror. If you hold this D letter near mirror, you can find it as B. And the same way P into Q. This is about symmetry in alphabet, and in figure what we have discussed already. Square has 4 lines of segment, rectangle has 2 lines of segment, and circle has infinite lines of segment. Symmetry, sorry, I'm telling symmetry. So square has 4 lines of symmetry, a rectangle has 2 lines of symmetry, circle has infinite lines of symmetry. Well, how I told you, when you overlap that figure after putting the line, it should match exactly. There we can say they have lines of symmetry or axis of symmetry. Even in this smiley you can find it has one line of symmetry, because one more line when we draw horizontally, then when we overlap this figure on this, then it will exactly match, but that is when we consider only the circle shape. But when we consider smiley face, it will not overlap, because this eye should be here also. When it overlaps, these eyes should also be in the other part. So we can say it will not exactly overlap, but when we consider the shape of this, which is circle, then it has infinite lines of symmetry. If you like the video, please share and subscribe. Thank you.